Hi, my name's Larie, and I'm here from the west coast of the United States, living in Nueva Gorgona. I was looking into moving internationally for about 12 years prior to coming here to Panama. Panama was one of the first countries I considered just because of its economic structure, location, miles of beach. I really love the ocean, and it uses the American dollar. A lot of good things about Panama. But over my investigations, I got sidetracked to Ecuador, Costa Rica, looked around quite a bit, and then kind of gave up for a few years. Then some things happened in the United States that got me reconsidering a move, and price of living, losing the electricity. I mean, in a first world country. I started looking at YouTube and found Panama Relocation Tours. Jackie's videos were great, so informative, and I remembered that, Panama had been somewhere I'd been interested in. So I did some further investigation, signed up for the tour. Here I am. So originally I wanted to live at the beach. It's a goal of mine my entire life, was to live on the ocean. Of course, Jackie recommends that you take some time when you come to Panama, that you look around, that you try different areas. And the tour brought us initially to Coronado. At that time, it felt really hot to me. I thought, it just didn't impress me too much, right? And then, of course, we went down to the Azuero Peninsula. Again, the heat felt too much. We got to Boquete, and it's beautiful. I was able to spend a month or two actually after the tour in Boquete, and really thought that I would end up in Boquete. The weather there is so nice and cooler. However, it does rain a bit, and it is somewhat overcast. But you get sun pretty much every day. So that was kind of my thought. But I was going to maybe do some house sitting around the country, try different areas, really take advantage of the country and not settle down. So that was my goal, was to actually pay attention to what Jackie recommended, because she's got great recommendations, and take my time. As it turns out, I have a pretty strong faith, so I really feel that God has led me here and led me to this actual location. When I first came on the tour, I wasn't sure that I would move to Panama. I was really checking it out, and I felt like I was open to it, but I just wasn't sure. And I was waiting for that nudge from God to kind of tell me this was my place. And I found that in Boquete. Actually went to Boquete Bible Fellowship, really loved that church. The first time I walked in, I just felt like I was being told that this is my place. And so I said, okay, I'm ready, I'm doing it. But I had met a friend in my pre-planning coming to Panama, a friend of a friend who lived in Gorgona. And she wasn't here at the time, so she had an available one-bedroom apartment that she said I could rent. And that way I get an opportunity to try out the beach. Again, I was thinking it would probably be too hot. So I only had a couple weeks here in Gorgona. It was about 84 degrees, very similar to what it is now. And the particular apartment I was in didn't have much of an airflow. And it was like, I think this is too hot for me. And so my plan was to come back and start at Boquete. I went back to the States, put my house on the market, got rid of all my stuff. I did not bring a shipment down. I brought nothing, and that's very strange because I was somewhat attached to my stuff. I had a lot of stuff. So I went ahead and got rid of all my stuff and just came down here September 1st, planning to stay in Gorgona, try it out a little bit before I got back to Boquete in the dry season. I was visiting Boquete and actually got an opportunity to buy a car. I did not yet have my driver's license. There's a lot of paperwork to be done here in Panama. So I had just gotten my visa, and I went ahead and got my e-cedula. And the next step was my driver's license and a car. So being in Gorgona area to do all that paperwork, being so close to Panama City, is another real benefit of living here in Gorgona. So I was planning on taking a long weekend. I took the bus to Boquete. I was going to pick up the car and come back. Well, as fate would have it, I picked up the car, and that night, after washing the car, I ended up stepping off a 3-foot patio and broke 2 bones in my foot. And actually, Jackie did a video about that I'm on. If you're interested in, medical care in Panama, that was a really good video. So I broke 2 metatarsals. I had to go into surgery. I'd never had surgery in my life. I got to do my first surgery in Panama. I had a very good experience, and that was all in the Boquete area. But I needed to come back here because in the meantime, I had bought this place. I was staying next door, and this apartment was available for rent. So I started looking into it, thinking, well, I'll rent this during the wet season. I'll go back to Boquete during the dry season. I could just keep this place and go back and forth. And the owner of the apartment ended up saying, well, we actually want to sell it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was not going to buy anything. And I'd only been here, maybe a total of 6 months. And I was out in the ocean one day, floating around, and I'm looking at the building and I'm thinking, man, I like living on the ocean. That was my goal, my life goal. Why don't I live here? And I really felt like God just said, make an offer and see what happens. Well, I'm in the real estate industry back in the States, so I lowballed them. I made an offer, not expecting them to accept it. We had a little bit of negotiation. I came up a little bit and they accepted the offer. I figure it's so popular here in the dry season. Worst case, I could rent it out, go to Boquete during the dry season. There's a lot of options available because people like to rent here in the Coronado area. Bottom line is I have the beach house I've always wanted, and I do not regret it one little bit. After I thought about it and spent a lot of time, Boquete versus the beach, there's more sun here. And I come from a very sunny place. I'm used to having sun, and I need my vitamin D and my sun. So this is the right place for me. And Panama is such a small country. It's easy to travel somewhere else in the country, go spend a month in Boquete, go down to, Las Tablas, whatever. If that's something I want to do, I think it will be very easy to drive wherever I want to go. I have, I believe, the best view in this building. Full ocean view in the front off my balcony. I get to look at Coronado over here on the side, hear the waves at night, got a great ocean breeze that comes through all the time. And what happens in Panama, even though it's warm, you acclimate. For what I thought initially was too hot and too uncomfortable, not the case at all. And my body has totally acclimated. I barely sweat anymore. And it's a great place to live. I was thinking when I moved to Panama that I'd maybe look more into a tiny house situation, maybe something smaller. I'm a single woman. I don't have family or kids that would be coming to visit. And I had a house back in the States that was way too big for me. So I was thinking going small. As it turns out, this is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. It's about, I think it's around 1,200 square feet. It's got a great kitchen. I've got a laundry room, got a balcony. So as it turns out, I think this is the best size for me. And so I can have guests come and visit. They'll have their own bedroom, their own bath. And I have my nice big master bedroom, walk-in closet, bathroom. It did come furnished. I did not care for the living room furniture, most of it. So I ended up actually selling a little bit of it, very easy to do, giving it away. And then I bought most of the living room furniture, but the dining room was there, the chairs over there were, so often here in Panama, things come fully furnished. Linens, the bed's great. I'm really happy with the bed, very comfortable. Ceiling fans are great, air conditioning's good, kitchen's nice and big, plenty of storage. It came with all the utensils you need. For the most part, I've added some things, of course, plates, glasses, all that.
Hello, my name is Roberto Diaz. Welcome to the Royal Palm. We are now here at the 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It is approximately $1,200 for long-term rental. That will include everything but electricity. Some owners may ask that you pay for cable. It just depends on each individual owner. We have the units that overlook the sunset. and those are a little hotter on the afternoon as a nice trade-off. So very cool in the morning and a little warmer in the afternoon. This unit is a sunrise side unit. Okay, so it'll get the morning sun till about midday when the sun passes over to the other side of the building, and but it gives you great views of the sunrise. You can also obviously see the Chame Mountains here as well. So this is a 70 meters square, so about 760 square feet apartment, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. This building has great amenities. It has a very extensive gym for the area. It also has a pickleball court and other courts down on the common areas. There's 2 different common areas here, one that gets sun pretty much all day, and then on the second level there is another common area that gets only the morning sun, so that people can go and jump in the pool if they don't want to have too much sun. This is the place that they would go to. Direct access to the beach. There's a restaurant downstairs that can actually serve the people of the building. They'll deliver to your apartment.
Coronado has, I'd say, 3 strip malls if you consider the Do It Center with Arocha, and there's a Burger King, there's a couple little restaurants. I think they're building a Starbucks. There's a movie theater there that once a week they show an English speaking movie. The Spanish speaking movies are subtitled. They're just putting in a Nation Sushi. That should open up next month. We're excited about that. So that's in the Do It Center. And then if you go a little farther down towards Boquete, down the Pan American Highway, then we have a Ray and a little shopping center there. And then across the street we have a 99 and quite a few stores in that strip mall, if you will. And that's kind of it. It's a little bit limited here for shopping. You can pretty much get what you want. But the benefit of Panama City being so close, that's when it's no traffic, it's an hour. Because of my injury, I have just kind of in the past month been doing a little more adventure investigation, as I would have done that much earlier. So I've only been to Panama City a couple times. I took my girlfriend there because she needs to go to the hospital. I like to shop up there. I was able to go to a restaurant that turns out it's an excellent Panamanian restaurant. Had a good experience with the hotel we stayed at, affordable, and there's plenty of shopping there. Of course, the airport's there, so when people come to visit, you go there. Albrook Mall, easy to take a bus. So there's a lot of public transportation. It's excellent. You can always hop a bus. I can get a bus out here. I can grab a cab. And then getting on the Pan American Highway, you can grab a big bus and go all the way into Panama City for $2.50. Get off at Albrook Mall, grab an Uber. Uber will take you anywhere you need to go for $5. You don't need to worry about driving in Panama City. I did my first trip in Panama City last week driving, but I made it okay. I ended up getting rear-ended this week coming out of Gorgona onto the Pan American Highway, so that was a drag. So I get to deal with that. So I've had all these great new experiences like, okay, break your foot, what's surgery like in Panama? Now I get to go to court for my car situation. So I'm getting all the experiences I need so I can be well-versed in living in Panama. Okay, social life. I go to church, so that's very helpful. And it seems like I haven't really gotten into, there's a hiking club here that I am a WhatsApp member, but because of my injury, I hadn't yet gotten involved in that. So that's something I'm going to be looking into now that I'm mobile. It seems like they do a hike pretty much every week, and they do a hike of different variations. I'm not a drinker, so there's a lot of partying in in Panama in general. I think the expats like their cocktails. So there are a number of places here where a bar. You can go meet people, have social life. There's a couple of farmers markets. I think at Picasso they have karaoke night. Actually, right down here on the beach, there's a small hamburger stand that's attached to the bahia. They have food and drinks. Often they'll have some sort of entertainment. We have some people, musicians that play frequently in different areas that market themselves. So you can always go find somebody's playing on the weekends. So you can go listen to music. There's a harbor close by. So if you're into sailing, I think that's an option. I haven't looked into that. I know there's some paddleboarding. I mean, right here in the bay, the paddleboarding can be amazing. I've just started doing that myself. You can boogie board. I love to swim in the ocean. So it's so different. Like sometimes it's like a lake. This morning it was flat and there was little tiny wake. Other times we get some pretty decent waves, some swell. You can ride waves like boogie boarding down at the point there. I have some friends that do that frequently. And I swim in the ocean all the time. Yeah, it's fun. But we do have a period of time, about a month, I think, that there's jellyfish. So one day I was taking a walk at low tide and there was like a ton of jellyfish, dead jellyfish on the ocean. So that passes. And we do have some rip tides at times. Personally haven't run into them, but there was a drowning here since I've been here. So you have to be really careful. People that don't know how to swim should, pay attention, find out. But they put flags up, and you'll see red flags on days you're not supposed to swim. So, yeah, people ride buggies on the beach and horses sometimes. I saw horses last week. I think dealing with the bureaucracy, trying to get your visa, trying to get your e-cedula, not knowing the language. And so I do not speak Spanish. I know very little Spanish. I'm doing my best with Duolingo to pick up the language, but challenge to take care of business, right? So it's important to find a friend, somebody that knows Spanish, that's willing to help you out, give you a little tip here and there. There's a lot of process here. So what I'm used to, efficient use of time, like going through something, going to one window at a government office and having everything handled, that's just not the way it is here. You're gonna go to 5 different windows to get one thing handled. So I need to have patience and tolerance. I knew that when I got here, thanks to Jackie's educational, prowess, right? It's like, you got to be patient. And so I took that and I agreed with that and I've been working on that. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it kind of gets like, rah! But most of the time it's like, just take your time, do what you need to do, you'll get it done, and just be patient. The driving, challenging. I talked about it being like in a video game. So you need to be really alert. I rode a motorcycle in the States. I would not ride a motorcycle here. No way. I would not ride a bicycle here. No way. There's just too many opportunities for a wreck. For me, I'm a pretty friendly person, so I've made friends. I think if you're a shy individual and not used to actually stepping out of your comfort zone, that could be a little bit challenging. You need to be willing to step out of the comfort zone and introduce yourself to people, get involved wherever you can find it. I think there's plenty of Facebook groups that you could sign up for, be a part of. Activities are available. So it's an adventure, it's something that you have to really step it up and do it. I have found that where I come from, I was very comfortable. I knew the drill. I lived in the same area for a very long time. If I needed to go to the DMV or go to there was nothing new that came to my horizon. Here in Panama, everything is new. And I'm pretty uncomfortable with doing something for the first time that I've never done before. So it's taken a bit of realizing that about myself and then just taking someone with me. So the first time I'm going to drive in Panama City, I just make sure I take someone with me. The first time I went to PriceSmart by myself, I took someone with me. The first time, I had to go, like when I'm going to court for this accident that I incurred, I have a friend that speaks Spanish. She's willing to go with me. So you have to know yourself enough to take care of yourself. There are people here that move here and then they don't like it. They move back. I didn't want that to be me. I wanted to come and stay. I intend to be a resident to stay here. So Jackie's tour and all her guide and her help has really been a benefit to knowing what to expect, knowing what to do, knowing who to ask. I can always go do a private tour. If I wanted to find out more about Las Tablas, I would definitely do that. I would get one of her private tour guides and take a tour for a couple of days in the area that I was interested in. So the resources are available through Panama Relocation Tours. And there's, of course, other people that live here that are also willing to help. People seem to be very, very helpful if you can ask, and humble yourself and ask, I don't know how to do this. What do I need to do? As a single woman, I had to think long and hard about that. I think Panama is a safe country in general. The people are kind and gentle. It's mostly petty theft. And I actually had an experience with that. So I was staying at a friend's house in the Boquete area, and she told me that she was having a plumber come over to take a look at a leak underneath the kitchen sink. And she told me the person's name, but it was a Panamanian person. I didn't really pay attention. Well, she was gone, and I was home by myself, and I had my cast. My foot was in a cast, right? So I was an invalid, and there was a gentleman standing outside in her yard. And this was my problem, I thought it was the guy. I thought it was the guy that was going to come fix the sink. And I made that assumption, and then I moved forward with that assumption. It was not. So this gentleman was very nice, but I ended up inviting him in the house to look at the sink. He went over and kind of looked at the sink. He couldn't speak English. I couldn't speak Spanish. We communicated the best we could, and as he left, he picked my pocket. My purse was sitting there. I had a little coin purse, just was sitting right there, and he took it. I didn't even realize it till later. Excuse me, I go, where's my coin purse? And thank God my credit card wasn't in there because I had been keeping it in there. But for whatever reason, that day, my credit card wasn't in there. So he got out with about $40 and, needed it more than I did. And it was a good lesson for me, When my girlfriend got back home, she told me what was up. You never do that. And of course, so I was just trusting and not thinking. She lived I was staying in a small house, kind of a duplex, out of town, and that led me to realize, I think I'd be more comfortable in a condo. So here in this particular condo, and many of the condos in this area for sure, they have guards. We have 24/7 guards at the gate, from the street, and also at the beach. They check everybody that's coming in. They call us up if somebody's coming. If I'm not expecting someone, I get a phone call. If I have a friend coming, I let them know. So I feel very safe. And I think in general in the neighborhood, very safe. Haven't had any problems other than that one I created for myself. And I take responsibility for that. So you have to just be aware. Also, I've been walking around the mall. Like I'll go up to the Westfield Mall up here, and I wear a butt pack, a fanny pack a lot because I don't have to carry a purse or whatever. And if it's unzipped, I've had gals come up to me and go, oh, it's unzipped, So they watch out for you too, I've been a number of times where people have said, hey, do something with that. And it's like, okay, so I haven't had any problems, but it's been pointed out to me. So I really do appreciate that. So utilities here are amazingly cheap. It is crazy. So where I came from, I was paying, $60 to $100 depending on the time of the year with electric and gas. Water was high. It was expensive. Here I pay $5.68 a month, and I can use all the water I want. There's no problem with that. I was concerned about air conditioning here at the coast because people have mentioned in PRT videos that they run their air conditioning all the time, especially during the high season. And that's not been my experience. The sun sets in the west. So during the dry season, it's setting right in my window, okay? It's going down right there. It's beating in. I can pull the blinds, and they're see-through blinds, so I can actually still see the ocean. And I don't run, as long as I have a fan running or the door open, I get a great cross breeze. As long as I have moving air, I'm very comfortable. And every once in a while, I'm like, I'm kind of hot. I think I'll turn on the air conditioning and pull the blinds and cool it off a little bit. But I do not run it 24/7. And my electric bill, without an Ubi discount yet, I'm working on getting that, has been less than $20 every month, even when I'm using air conditioning. For a period of time, I used it every night, maybe for a couple weeks, and yeah, no, it hasn't gone over $20. And that's it. I mean, I pay HOA, which is reasonable for this condo, and I have a pool, and we have a workout room, and usually you'll find that here. And beach access, and the guys that work here are awesome. They're long-term employees, and they take good care of us. So I pay that. And of course you pay property tax, which is a fraction of what I would pay in the United States, the property tax. Recently, a gal has started cooking Indian food here. So once a week, she'll provide a freshly cooked Indian meal for like $7. So I'm using her. And then I bought an Instant Pot, so I'm going to start cooking myself. But in Boquete, there's a number of services that you can have food delivered, or here, not so much that I have found. So, and I've looked for it because it's convenient. Also, the thing I like about Boquete that we don't have here as much is the number of restaurants. So Boquete has a ton of places to eat out. If you want to eat out, you can go probably every day to a different restaurant for 3 months, probably. There's just so many great restaurants to eat out and, to try different types of food. Coronado needs some help in that area. There's not a lot of choices here. But I have noticed recently it's starting to pick up. Like we have a new restaurant called The Bench that's awesome. That Nation Sushi is opening up probably in August. We have Per Se, which is a nice little cafe in the Do It Center that's opened up. They have good food. So it's starting to pick up again, and I'm excited about that because it's nice to have, we have a Texas barbecue went to last night that was really good, but it's right on the Panamanian Highway, so you're like, hello, yelling at your friends and stuff. But good food and reasonably priced. You can still get a meal for under $10. You can get a decent meal here for under $10. And then some of the more Americanized restaurants, if you will, you're going to pay $15 or $20 if you have a drink. And so it just depends. You can manage your money accordingly.